Welcome to NFM Market Perspectives.
NFM Market Perspectives Monday Setup. Trump tariff math, global central banks, and big earnings in semis and consulting. Welcome back. In the next few minutes, I will walk you through how the S&P 500 opened, the latest developments in President Trump's tariff strategy, the key economic data scheduled for release this week, the earnings and IPO calendar, global futures and commodities, and our bonus look at the semiconductor ETF, Micron, and Accenture. We close with the game plan for the week ahead. S&P 500 open snapshot from the heat map. The market opens under pressure, with weakness concentrated in mega-cap technology and semiconductors. Microsoft is lower, Apple is near flat, and Amazon, Alphabet, and Meta are modestly red. Semiconductors are the clear drag, with Nvidia sharply lower and Broadcom down double digits, pulling the entire chip complex into the red. Oracle is also weaker, reinforcing that software and enterprise names are not insulated. Tesla is one of the few green names, but overall, leadership is narrow and early risk appetite is soft. Trump tariffs and policy update. Tariffs remain the dominant macro theme. President Trump has floated at least 9 different ideas for how tariff revenue could be used, including tariff dividend checks and funding recent tax cuts. However, tariff revenue dipped after the administration lifted some duties on food items such as coffee, oranges, and cocoa, underscoring the tension between affordability concerns and revenue goals. Legal uncertainty remains the largest risk. A pending Supreme Court decision could invalidate a significant portion of the tariffs and potentially force refunds. At the same time, the administration announced a $12 billion aid package for farmers, arguing it would not be possible without tariff revenue. Farmers welcome the support but continue to warn that it does not fully offset lost export demand, particularly in soybeans. Tariff uncertainty is also spilling into corporate actions. Companies including Costco are pursuing refund claims in anticipation of a possible court reversal. In parallel, Trump approved Nvidia selling some H200 chips to China, signaling that tariffs and technology export policy remain closely linked and subject to rapid change. Economic data to watch this week. This is a heavy global macro week. Early releases include China activity data, while North America sees important inflation and labor indicators. Thursday is the key cluster, featuring the Bank of England decision, the European Central Bank decision and press conference, U.S. CPI and jobless claims, and Mexico's interest rate decision. Friday closes with U.S. PCE inflation, consumer sentiment, inflation expectations, and the Bank of Japan decision and press conference. Key earnings of the week. Earnings are steady all week, with the most important reports tied to semiconductors, consulting, logistics, and consumer demand. Monday, Abivax, U.S. Gold, RCI Hospitality, Immersion, and Children's Place report, offering early reads on specialty healthcare, leisure, and discretionary spending. Tuesday, Lennar B, Worthington Industries, Duluth Holdings, and David's highlight housing demand, industrial activity, and niche consumer trends. Wednesday, Micron, General Mills, Jabil, Toro, and ABM Industries headline the session. Micron is the key semiconductor report, with implications for memory pricing and AI supply chains. Thursday, Accenture, Nike, Cintas, FedEx, and Darden Restaurants dominate the week. This is the most influential earnings day, touching enterprise spending, logistics volumes, global consumer demand, and labor services. Friday, Paychex, Carnival, Conagra Brands, Lamb Weston, and Winnebago Industries wrap up the week, providing signals on employment trends, travel demand, food inflation, and durable goods. IPO calendar. 2 IPOs are scheduled for Wednesday. Anderson Group is set to list on the New York Stock Exchange with an expected deal size around $176 million. Medline is scheduled for NASDAQ with a much larger expected deal near $5.4 billion. The message is that the IPO window is open, but investors remain selective. Futures, commodities, and volatility check. Futures are risk-off, led lower by the NASDAQ and Russell. Europe and Japan are also slightly weaker. Volatility is elevated but contained, with the VYX in the mid-teens. Oil is stable in the high 50s, gold is firmer, industrial metals are softer, the dollar is slightly higher, and Bitcoin is trading near 90,000. Bonus charts, semiconductor ETF, Micron, and Accenture. The semiconductor ETF is near the lower Bollinger Band with soft momentum, suggesting consolidation rather than panic. Micron sits in the lower half of its range ahead of earnings, making it a volatility-driven setup. Accenture remains range-bound, with guidance likely to matter more than the headline result. Game plan. We start the week with pressure in tech and semiconductors, elevated policy risk, and a dense macro and earnings calendar. Stay selective. Use the semiconductor ETF as a barometer for risk appetite, treat Micron and Accenture as earnings catalysts, and keep position sizes modest into Thursday's global central bank and inflation cluster.
Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, hit subscribe and share this with others. See you next time on NFR Market Perspectives.